Roll Tide, Bama fans, how y'all doing today? It's your boy Mizzy. I'm back here this week to give my prediction. We going on the road this week. We playing Missouri. It's a 11 a.m. kickoff, early kickoff. Man, you already know it's your classic trap game. And just before I get into the prediction, I kind of just want to just speak on the team a little bit. I was watching Kane Wommack, coach the boy Ryan Grubb. I was watching their press conferences today, their interviews, the beginning of the week, reporters asking them, about the previous game and all that. Man, I really like what I was hearing from Kane Wommack because everybody know he's been under a lot of fire for the defense. And, he said something that I was like, you know what? We really got to take that in fact. A lot of Alabama fans, man, we've really been killing our defense. And like I said, this past week, yes, I know they had the explosive run play Vanderbilt. And like I said, they had the turnover. But as far as what the defense did, you got to look at the defense only gave up 14 points. They got 2 red zone turnovers. And like I said, like Kane Wommack said, he's like, man, look, we want to address everything that we struggle with. But at the end of the day, you want to keep the points off the board. So, like I said, we played Georgia. We've seen what Georgia scored and did to Tennessee defense, and you've seen how they struggle with our defense. So this defense has talent. I'm just putting that out there because I know a lot of people have been like really, just shitting on the defense, but I think this defense has a lot of talent. And then I want to get into Ty Simpson, man. Ty Simpson right now, I don't know if he's leading the Heisman race, but I know he is at least top 3. Ty Simpson right now, besides the one turnover, which I think was kind of it was kind of a force, but Ty Simpson right now is playing quarterback at a high level. And the greatest thing about this team right now, the ceiling, I would say, wherever the ceiling is, I think this team hasn't even scratched the surface of what they could be. Because look at it. Like I said, you got that Big Tim. You got that Jam. Jam just a second week after returning rushed for over 100 yards. It's just showing like, okay, man, now the team is really finna kick up. And people don't realize Jam Miller, he's not only a great runner, Jam Miller is also a great blocker. Go back and watch some of that tape once they sending in extra blitzers. And then, like I said, they sending in a DB linebacker, and then Ty Simpson is audible, and he's having Jam come back in to block. That's one of the key things that, like I said, Ryan Grubb talked about because a reporter asked him about wide receivers blocking, and he was like, man, look, we've done okay. We still got a lot to work on because he's like, man, you're not always gonna just be out there catching balls. You gotta block, and I really think that's when this team will elevate because we had been just passing the ball around, just a pass first team these first couple of weeks, and we still teams knew we were passing and they couldn't stop it. So think about when they gotta bring those safeties down and then they can't play too high safeties, and now you gotta worry about Jam Miller coming out the back. You gotta worry about Riley coming out the back, catching screen passes, catching passes in the flat. Then you'll see this team really reach the level that they can. And I also like that Ryan Grubb said he was because they asked him about the field goals we made and which should have been touchdown. He was like, yeah, I didn't like that. I feel we should have executed better. And like I said in my previous video, I love Ryan Grubb. He you can tell play caller that he has a very creative mind. But the one thing, you don't want to get too cute. It was a couple times that, like I said, man, don't get too cute. Sometimes you can overthink it. Hand the ball off to Jam Miller and let Jam keep coming downfield. Because at one point, Vanderbilt couldn't stop him. And then, like I said, man, I just want to see, like I said, the offense, defense. I love what y'all doing, and I just want to keep up. But anyways, we can go and get into the game. So, like I said, man, 11 a.m. kickoff, Missouri, they're undefeated. And yes, they're undefeated, but Missouri, they played UMass, South Carolina, which South Carolina is, they're a team. And then they played them when Sellers was, healthy and played. I think they won 20-29. And then, like I said, they played Kansas, the Raging Canes, and Central. So, like I said, they haven't played the toughest schedule, but you can only play who's on your schedule. But, like I said, man, they are undefeated. We are going to have to deal with Ahmad Hardy. He's the top rusher in the SEC. He's averaging right now 7.1 yards a carry with 9 touchdowns and 730 yards. And Alabama, I know people been talking about how Russian defense been struggling, and you've seen it with the explosive play with Vanderbilt. But if you look in that second half, they shut out the run. Like, shut out the running back and shut out Diego Pavio. We shut all of it out. So, and then, like I said, man, that's why I'm saying this defense, like I said, man, if they stay committed to just getting better, playing your gaps, doing your job, because that's the reason. And the guy hit the big explosive play in the first quarter. I think the guy might have been in the A gap, and then, like I say, the safety, a cornerback, I can't remember which one. When he came down, he just played way a bad angle, got on the outside, and like I said, that's the reason he got killed on that play. And then, like I said, when you're in certain defenses, that's the reason I be interested to see. I know Kane Womack, if you watch it, since last year he's been playing majority zone, but switch it up. Like I said, man, keep the offense guessing. But anyway, like I said, man, it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, so it's an early kickoff. And then, like I say, Missouri was on a bye this past week. But this is SEC football. You don't want no excuses. And because you want, a lot of people, they be like, man, you know what? Just like Miami. If you look at Miami's schedule right now, after them beating Florida State this past week, Miami can coast. If you look at their schedule, they literally can coast the rest of the year. Now, I'm saying that, and then watch Miami lose on game crazy. But anyways, like I said, man, the defense got to come in locked in. We already know Missouri, they quarterback, he can move around a little bit. And Ahmad Hardy, that's where it begins and stops. But they also have some other good running backs, but he's the star. He's the superstar of the team. We got to shut him down. Like I said, man, the same way this past week, we Bama with time of possession. Like I said, we kept time of possession. I think it was 37 minutes. We stifled the run in the second half. We got to keep that up, keep that momentum coming. And like I said, man, Ahmad Hardy, that's where, and like I said, that's why I'm loving. I know a lot of people will be like, dang, man, look how tough our schedule is. I think it's good. It just gives you battle wounds. We lost to Florida State, got punched in the mouth, bounced back. We played Georgia, went into Athens, won in Athens, 33-game home winning streak, snapped it, kaput. And then, what the next week? We go play Vanderbilt, a team that beat us last year when we was riding on a high. And what we do? Put them out, kaput, stifling. That's the type of thing. And then the game don't even start our way. It starts with a Ty Simpson interception. You could have easily just crumbled. But that's showing the mentality of this team is different this year. This is not the team from last year that I felt was weak-minded. And as soon as something didn't go their way in the game, they just wilted and just went away. Man, now you are seeing guys rise to the occasion. Like I said, man, the way Ty Simpson is playing, the way Bernard is playing, Ryan Williams, the whole team, Isaiah Horton, and I think Isaiah needs to get the ball more. They need to find a way because this guy, he's a matchup problem all over the field. And with that one pass, Ty hit him, I think, on the left side. He went up and, just plucked it out the air. Man, this guy 6'4" and can run out the gym. Like, we need to get him the ball more. And I know, like I said, we got a lot of playmakers, but sometimes you have players on the team that you just like, look, we need to get the ball in this guy's hands more, somehow. But anyway, like I said, man, and then I'm loving seeing the, matter of fact, I can't remember the guy's name. His name is Josh Poland, but he does college football. and he was talking about being around the Alabama team. He kind of gave a hint to talking about when he was there in the summer. He's not surprised about Caden Proctor being involved in all these couple plays the past week, because he practically was saying that he's seen them working on stuff in the summer. So that made me think like, well, I wonder what else is they gonna pull out. Like, is it gonna be like the way the Eagles do the tush push? If we at the goal line, they like, man, you know what? Hey, go and give it to get Caden Proctor. Go and give it to him. Cause like I said, man, if you need a couple yards and give him the ball, he's unstoppable. Like, I don't even know what you could do really. Cause like I said, if he gets a little momentum coming, he's gaining a couple yards just falling. It's like you're not just pushing him backwards, and the guy's a freak athlete. But anyways, this game, I want to see Alabama run the ball more the same way last week. I want to see Jam with at least 15 carries. I want to see Ryan Williams keep building on to his season. He had one drop, and we don't like that, but he had a touchdown. He had a bunch of big catches last week. So like I said, we still want to build on that. Jeremy Bernard, he had a drop. I don't really, even though like I said, we don't want no drops, but Bernard, he's been playing great this year. So you really don't want to, I'm not counting too much against him. And one of the things I seen Ryan Grubb, they was asking, one of the reporters was asking him, how do he come up with like the trick plays? They like, how do you come up when to use them and who to use? And then he was like, well, you know, it's kind of like this. When whoever the guy that I trust the most on the team, that's who's going to get them opportunities. And he's benching Bernard. Because if you watch the game, Bernard, he may not be the fastest guy. He may not be, he's not a DK Metcalf just imposing, but he is a big guy. But one thing about it, the guy plays hard. He don't make many mistakes. When the ball comes his way, he catches it. He catches touchdown. He runs out the backfield. He just an all-around player. And you can tell it's certain players on the team, you got to have that guy that can just do it all. And then this team, like I said, I'm feeling like, man, this team really, if they take care of business, they got a great opportunity ahead of them. But I love, like Coach DeBoer said, man, we just want to take it week to week, game by game, keep being focused, keep playing great, but you don't want to get too high. And he even said, you know, he used a different terminology. We know Nick used to call it rat poison. You know, he used to be quick to come in. We don't want no rat poison. But what he said, he was like, man, you know, you don't want to get too high, too low. He like, the pats on the back is great, but it don't help you none. And I'm like, you know what? That's what I like. I like a coach coming in and saying, man, look, let's celebrate now. We'll celebrate now, and boom, we on to the next one. How I know this team changed, because the guy I was watching, he was saying this after we beat Vanderbilt. He said once we had beat Georgia, and then we was we beat Georgia and the team was around. He said all the team was talking about on to Vanderbilt, on to the next game. That let me know that, okay, you know what? This team does have the mental fortitude to keep getting better. And I think, like I said, man, this team, they haven't even reached their ceiling. But anyways, we're a 3.5 favorite in this game on the road. Like I said, that practice tells me if we was at home, we might be a 6-point favorite. But anyways, I think the score that I'm thinking in my mind, because if we can, I do think they will, because like I say, they're at home. I think they'll run the ball good some, but I do think the way that Alabama wins this game, because like I said, anytime you play a team that wants to run the ball, you want to force them to pass the ball. Get them in third and long, just like Vanderbilt. Get them in third and longs. Get them that Ahmad Hardy, he's irrelevant. He's not in this play. If he wants the ball, he'll have to catch a screen pass or something like that. But if he won't be running out the backfield, I think, like I said, Alabama stifles the run. Like I said, they get some good runs early, but I think this game ends up being a blowout. I got this game 38-14. I got Bama offense just kicking. Like I got Bama this game running for over 150. Ty Simpson passing for over 300 yards, about 3 or 4 touchdowns. I got this offense just firing on all cylinders. Because like I said, man, this offense, and I told my friend earlier this year, I'm like, man, if they play at their level, nobody should be able to stop this offense. When they're playing above, like I said, Ty Simpson right now, the way he's playing, and like I said, the way he's comfortable, and then the offensive line, that's another thing. The offensive line is starting to gel. They starting to get their rhythm. And anybody know the way an offensive line really gets good, you got to play together. You got to have chemistry. That's the reason anytime you see a lot of offensive line struggling is because they got injuries. You got this guy moving the tackle, this guy moving the guard, center. So anytime you see an offensive line starting to play well, most likely it's because they've been playing together for a while. They starting to gel. And like I said, they starting to get their rhythm going. Because we've been doing good pass blocking. We just ain't get good run blocking. And with Jam Miller coming back, you starting to see, oh, wait a minute. This team can run the ball. Like, you know, people was thinking like, oh, well, Alabama, you know, they struggling to run the ball. No. Jam Miller back. And it's a reason. It's always a reason you're the starter. It was a reason he was the starter for this team. And now he's back and playing great. But anyways, guys, like I said, I got this game 38-14. I got Alabama kicking Missouri ass. And I'm like I said, man, I think this game, it'll be close for maybe a quarter and a half. And I think we start firing off. I think the defense, I think they force the quarterback to put the ball in the air, get an interception, and then, like I say, flip field position. We cash in a couple more points. But anyways, guys, roll tide. Your boy Mizzy out. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I love all the support, and I catch you next time.